Let's quickly talk about finding the ideal price for a dropshipping products. The thing is, if you're dropshipping, you understand that finding the exact profit is also important. I mean, not finding exact profit, but you need to estimate your profit. And in trying to estimate your profit, you need to have a clear idea about setting the right ideal price for a product. So here are the steps I really want you to pay attention to. The whole thing here is you need to maximize profit, right? If you have a dropshipping business, you need to constantly maximize profit. But the thing is that you have a lot of things that are changing. So when we talk about profit, we're talking about revenue. In other words, the sales, but also the cost. And so those two elements are kind of important. So basically, you control the revenue, you control the price you are actually selling your product at, but you do not control the cost. Now, the cost when it comes to dropshipping, you can actually sign contracts with dropshipping suppliers. You can actually do market research to sort of find the best dropshipping cost, if you will, the product cost. You can also try to really go through dropshipping platforms to find out the most competitive products and the most competitive cost. But the thing is, you do not control the cost. So everything revolves around your revenue. Now, the cost, you control part of the cost because part of the cost you have not only the product cost, but you also have marketing costs. You control the PPC ads that you actually have to run through Facebook or Google or Instagram or TikTok or whatever. You control that, but it's important to really to have the like a vision for your ideal cost. Now, the ideal cost and the ideal price by extension help you identify your target market and business goals because you're going to attract a certain category of buyers based on the price that you have, okay? And you are able to calculate your cost and the profit you want to make. But this is not a static thing. This happens all the time. You have to constantly try to calculate your cost and the profit that you want to make. You got to have a vision. That's what I was talking about, having a vision. And sometimes it really helps to use a dropshipping calculator to understand your numbers. And you also are able to analyze and update your process once you start making sales. It's all about trials and errors. It's all about seeing exactly what kind of pricing points really attract a certain category to your store. Boss, welcome back to the show. Really appreciate having you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. Let me now give you a few pro tips. What should you consider when pricing a product? If you are actually doing dropshipping right now, you got to really think about a few criteria in terms of setting a price. First of all, you got to think about your long-term priorities. So when we talk about long-term priorities, you want to consider the reasons for starting your dropshipping business and your long-term goals, okay? So those are personal to you, but some examples include the following: to sell. You may create a dropshipping company to sell it in the next 2 years or 3 years or 5 years. If this is the case, consider what will appeal to a potential buyer. This could include selling a variety of products and maximum profit, right? I mean, a buyer wants to see profits, profits, and profits. For longevity, for instance. Alternatively, you might be starting a dropshipping company as it's something you're passionate about and want to establish a brand. To do this, you may need to spend more on advertising to get your brand recognized. Therefore, you might price with a lower profit margin to subsidize your marketing cost. So, long-term business priorities. You also need to identify your target market. That's what I was just telling you earlier, that when you sell products at a certain price, you are attracting, directly or indirectly, a certain dropshipping target market. So consider your target market. The people you design your product for are your target market. So your target market could be demographic, geographic, psychographic, or behavioral. And so the market you aim your products at determines the price you can successfully sell for. Is your product aimed at students? Then you might need to price low, as they are usually on a limited budgets. Are you selling in a specific region? Consider the average income and if your product price matches this. Is this a specific sports product? Consider who would use it. It could be an adult on a high income who has money to spend on luxury products, or a kid who needs it for a gym class. So you really always have to constantly analyze your target market. You have to also do a lot of A/B testing to see what works for you. And in some cases, you might have to do trials and errors. The whole idea here is to actually you have to go through some iterations to find out exactly what fits your specific target market. Plus, I want to quickly remind you to this topic, we are having a conversation about pricing strategy in dropshipping. How do you find the ideal price? Let me give you a winner here. How do you calculate product pricing? So before actually pricing a product, it's really vital to check who will be turning how you will be turning a profit, right? You want to check that. And so generating profit is really the aim of dropshipping. But to do this, you need to know the cost of the product and the shipping cost. That's what I was telling you earlier. You have the variable cost and you have the fixed cost. Your supplier will be able to provide you with this information, at least the product cost, and you also need to know any fees and your fixed costs overall. So once you have that information, you can work out like a rough price that you want to sell at and how much profit you will make. Okay, and so you can aim for a 20 to 25% profit on your dropshipping products. You can go even higher if you think the market can really absorb it. So if you buy a product for $10, shipping and fees included, you need to sell it at $12.50 or $13.33 to make a 20 to 25% profits. Okay, and so the whole thing here is that you always have to move up. So if you want to, let's say you want to make like 33% profits, that's when you go to 13.33. But the percentage of your profit is individual to your business. Okay, and for example, grocery stores only have on average a 2.2% profit margin due to volume and the reach they have. So, but when you start your dropshipping business, you don't have that reach already. You don't have that reach. So you may need to actually increase your profit margin a little bit. Okay. You also need to think about you need to think about your variable cost and also your fixed cost. Let's talk about it. So variable cost first. So we're talking about the goods, the shipping and the fees. So those will constitute your variable cost. So understanding your cost allows you to price your products effectively. So the variable costs are the costs that only occur when you sell a product. So the cost of goods sold is the price you pay the supplier for your products. Shipping, this is how much it costs to ship each product to your customer. And the fees will include things like packaging, labeling, labor, marketing materials, and advertising. It's really important to have a clear idea of your cost because most dropshippers, they just spend and spend and spend. They have no calculation that goes on. Okay, so besides the variable cost, you need to really have the fixed cost. So the fixed costs really are like the costs that really do not vary per piece. And so subscriptions and memberships, for instance, Shopify, Amazon, software, domain, custom email, business license, insurance, rent. Okay, and then then when you subtract your when you actually subtract your profit, your pricing from your cost, you have the profit. Okay, so again, you want to really have like 20 to 25%, in some cases 33%. Totally possible. Now, the thing that I just gave you here, you can do this manually. You can use an app. Or you can use Microsoft Excel to actually find out your profits, right? Or some people, if you're good at math, you can actually do it mentally. Not a problem. Now, there are cases where you can use a product pricing calculator. So there are dropshipping product pricing calculators that can really help you out. It's all about having things automatically done. So calculating your numbers can be unnecessarily confusing, especially when you want to experiment with different prices and margins. So to do this, try a product pricing calculator, and there are plenty of options, and you can actually use an app also. Now, the thing is, if you have one product, it's really easy, but everybody knows if you have a dropshipping, like a serious dropshipping business, you're not going to have only one product. You're going to have tens of products. Now, when you have tens of products, you can't do the calculation manually unless you really are good at math once again. So you are able to, it's just a lot better to use a dropshipping product pricing calculator so you can automate things. You want to have a tool that has tons of information and will calculate everything you need to know about your numbers, okay? And so basically now some of those pricing calculators, they charge you, or some are free. So it's all about it, but the process is pretty simple though. You just need to fill out your selling price, like the selling price for your dropshipping products. You need to add in an estimated amount of pieces you will sell. You want to enter your cost and fees. And what happens here is that the calculator will automatically and instantly calculate your profit margin as well as other key metrics. So it's really one of those things where you have to be in a situation where you're comfortable about the numbers you are receiving from the calculator. But see, the whole thing is it's all about the input. If you input the right numbers, you will get the right output. Okay, but it's one of those things where you have to be in a situation where you're constantly sort of putting the right numbers. You can feed the system the right numbers so that you are able to find the right solution. Now, one thing I have to say here is that when you use a product pricing calculator, please make sure that you are thinking about the variety of products and also seasonality. Seasonality plays an important role because not all 12 months are the same. I mean, in dropshipping, whatever the target market you are going after, you're going to sell more in November, December during the holiday season than you will sell more, say, in April or May. It's just what it is. Okay, in the summer months, sales can be low, really. Okay. Well, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about pricing strategy in dropshipping. How do you find the ideal price for your dropshipping business? Let me give you a bonus here. So how do you analyze, experiment, and test pricing? And the thing here is that, let's say you will basically launch your product at one price, right? But it is unlikely that that price will stay the same forever. Why? Because basically things are changing, the market is changing, and it shouldn't stay the same. I mean, you'll have competition from third parties, from competitors. I mean, you have competition from other sellers on Amazon. Even if you have your own Shopify store, people are constantly browsing the net. So if you're on a marketplace such as Amazon or eBay or Etsy, you are going to have competitors actually fighting you tooth and nail. So you're going to have to reduce the pricing unless you are able to differentiate yourself. So you want to analyze the data you have and adjust the price of your products accordingly. And let me talk about sales first. If your product is flying off the shelves and receiving great feedback, consider upping the cost to maximize your profits. Alternatively, if your product isn't selling, but you notice that your competitors are doing well, think about dropping your price to generate sales, okay? And so also think about seasonal promotion. That's what I just spoke to you about. So if you have a product that sells all year round, it's really cool. But interest will always peak between it really depends on your niche. But let's say you have interest that peaks between January and April. So during this time, what you do here is that your price will tend to be at its highest. This is because in this period, there is high demand and people are willing to spend the most. Then once the peak is over, you will offer a discount to try and boost sales, okay? You can also take advantage of big sale days. This could be Black Friday, Cyber Monday, New Year's Day, etc. On these days, you can offer promotions like free shipping or discounts. It's all about staying relevant. You can also think about discounts. So offer repeat customers exclusive discounts like free shipping or percent off when they spend over a certain amounts. Alternatively, you can set up a rewards program to help customers return to you. And so you want to offer something similar to the McDonald's coffee promotion where you buy 5 coffees and receive 1/6, like your 6th for free. You can also entice new customers to purchase from you with a 10% discount on their first purchase. It's always relevant. It's always important to be relevant. Make sure to factor these discounts and promotions into your costs because there are costs. Let me give you the approach you need to really think about here. So let's talk about product pricing strategies. So basically, a product pricing strategy is basically a method to determine the best price for a product. So there are several product pricing strategies, and it really depends on what market you're in, depends on the geography you cover, and also it really depends also on your target audience. So I want to talk to you about competitive pricing, value-based pricing, and cost-plus pricing. In other words, markup pricing. Okay, let's first talk about the competitive pricing. And you also have manufacturer suggested retail price, so MSRP, that you probably have heard about when we talk about cars. You can also apply that in dropshipping. You can also think about penetration or discount pricing and also price skimming. So you have all kinds of possibilities here. So when we talk about competitive pricing, this is when you price your product cheaper than your competitor. The aim is that you can draw your customers you can draw their customers to your store for a better price for the same dropshipping product. This might mean that your profit is lower. However, you might make up for this by selling more pieces. You can also try value-based pricing. So if your product is better, adds more value, or you have an established brand with a trusted audience, you might be in a position to price your product above the competition. This means that you might miss out on those looking for a cheaper deal, but you probably have a higher profit margin. You can also try cost plus pricing. So this is markup pricing. So this is simply adding a markup to your variable and fixed cost. This doesn't take into account your competitors' prices or the product's value. You can also test the MSRP or recommended retail price. So this is when the product manufacturer recommends the price you sell it. Most of the time you can alter the price, but it helps to standardize pricing. You may have seen this before on food products in convenience stores, but also cars, okay? And also you have penetration or discount pricing. This is when you temporarily discount your product to gain traction and interest. And discount pricing is offering customers discounts on your inventory to increase sales. And both can be great for customers as they feel like they're getting a great deal, but it can also make your customers think your products are of poor quality or less valuable. You can also try price scheming. So you want to launch your product at a high cost and reduce the price over time. This strategy works by keeping the price high while the demand is high and the competition is low. Then as the market becomes more saturated, you can lower your price to attract and keep customers. Let me talk to you about the pick here. So what is the pick? How do you price depending on your platform? Because every platform is different. I was talking to you earlier about the different strategies to have in mind. So the basics of pricing your product will remain the same no matter where you list. However, there may be additional fees to consider when pricing your products. This varies between platforms and countries you sell from and to. Let's first talk about Shopify. So Shopify charges a credit card rate. So the percentage varies depending on your subscription plan. They also charge a transaction fee if you are not using Shopify's own payment gateway. So if you choose to sell on Shopify, make sure to factor in the credit card rate and possible transaction fees to your product price. So depending on the amount you sell, it might be worth considering upgrading your plan, as the starter plan has a 2% credit card rate, whereas the advanced plan has a 1.5% rate. And so this is for Shopify. What about Amazon? Well, you can subscribe to an individual or a professional plan. The plan you choose will determine your basic fees. You may also be subject to referral fees. If Amazon is your chosen dropshipping platform, make sure to add in this cost when determining how much to price your product. What about Etsy? Well, there is a listing fee for Etsy as well as transaction fees. So Etsy is a great platform, but if you are testing multiple products, it might not be the best option. This is because you need to pay every time you list the products. So listings also expire on Etsy, meaning you might need to repay the fee if your listing expires. As well as the listing fee, there are also transaction fees. And you want to add these fees to your product calculator to work out your price and the profits. What about eBay? Well, eBay charges a listing fee and a final value fee. You will be charged the final value fee when your product sells. Similarly to Etsy, eBay's listing fee makes it a less favorable dropshipping option for some dropshippers. Make sure to consider this cost in your final price. It's always important, okay? So you want to work out your variable and fixed cost and add your profit to get a rough price. And you can do things manually. You can use an Excel spreadsheets, or you can use a dropshipping product cost calculator tool to help figure out a price that works for your business and customers. Okay, and you also need to check out the competition and see what techniques they are using, and do not be afraid to adjust and test different pricing strategies. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. Let me just do a quick recap here. In today's conversation, I was talking to you about pricing strategy, dropshipping. What is the ideal price here? So basically, I give you the steps, the pro tips, the winner, the bonus, and the approach you need to really implement right now, as well as the pick. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.